let me get this straight. So instead of having this Zarzad whatever system linked to Joe Space or Poshvin, which it was like right next to on the map, it's not linking to any of that. It's simply you get there via four widely flung stargates into that system. Well, widely flung around the EV universe and compass points, getting to the system so you can simply ship cast to faction warfare space, where you could have based, like, how do you base out of it? I mean, once you ship cast there, are you based there, or can you base out of the the four systems that you can get to this Zarzad, or can you uh, reship at Zars? Can you have a clone installed there so you can reship there and then ship cast out? Could you do it that way? I mean, it seems possible that you could do that. Is there a clone bay located? Is there a medical bay located at Zars? Let's check that out. Is there a station? There's a station. Death's Custodians. Clone Bay. There we go. Fittings. Repair shop. Reprocessing. Okay. Alright, fair enough. This service requires standings of 10 with Deathless Custodians. In order to fit, you need 10. In order to use the industry, you need 10. In order to use the repair shop and reprocessing, you need 10. What? Jesus Christ. Let's just, for sanity's sake, check out services. Oh my god. Holy Jesus. So, in order to take full advantage of cloning out of Zars, you have to work up your standings to 10. In the meantime, why would you bother shipcasting? I mean, seriously. It would be nice. One looks at this in objective terms and goes, okay, well, once you've got high enough standings doing these uh, corruption stuff in faction warfare, you will be able to take advantage of the fact you can base out of this place and, you know, shipcast from there, using the ship you've stored at the station, which you can get to via very dangerous systems. You could do it, but why not just simply base out of the faction warfare you're interested in anyways, and just not bother with the shipcasting? I mean, why bother shipcasting? I mean, I've never tried it before, but can you fleet up? Can you, like, how do you? Are you just like? Why would you randomly send yourself into faction warfare space with no, like, it's not like you're gonna get, it's not like a raid where you, like, you join something going on. It's like, why would you use shipcasting in the first place, right? I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, why would you not just have a whole bunch of your ships at a staging area or staging areas in, I've heard people have multiple staging areas in faction warfare space and just go from there, right? And if you need to, just move your ships to other stations. Um, I can't. I've never seen any utility to the shipcasters. I mean, why would you travel all that way to get to that spot in order to randomly get sent to a faction warfare space where you is the end game? Why would you not reship there? And why? What's the point in using the shipcaster? Is using the shipcaster giving you any benefit? Like, what's the advantage of using a shipcaster? And I'm going to tell you right now, from what I've discovered, it's a shipcaster. Like, I don't give a crap about the official shit. I want
MacGybo. Hi, I'm MacGybo. Just want to do a little recap on ShipCasters,
what? He's not wearing his mask? Oh my god!
faction warfare, what's been going on. Now, I've not been involved with faction warfare, but I've been following it a little bit, particularly the ShipCasters. Things which have come into existence as the result of faction warfare players over the last few months. Now, if you've been out the loop and you want to know what a shipcaster is, it's basically a kind of jumping mechanism that would take people in faction warfare factions to the front line of where their fights are taking place. And they exist because players in those factions have been contributing components to build these shipcasters
Yeah, but can't. What's the advantage of using it?
in recent times. Now, you can only use shipcaster related to your faction if you're fighting faction warfare for that faction. It's not just anyone that can go along and jump with them. Now, the system that I'm in is next door to a system that has an operational interstellar shipcaster. So I'm going to go and take a look at it. Now, the way that it works is that I think that there are 3 or 4 potential places that it could jump you to at the front line, and it alternates between these targets every 6 minutes. And what it takes you to is a shipcaster beacon. Now, the shipcaster itself cannot be blown up, but the beacon can. So you could fully expect that when you arrive through the shipcaster, wherever it takes you to, you're going to find enemies more or less straight away. So it could be just an instant way of finding a fight. Now, the shipcaster itself is in Intaki, which is high security space. So when you're jumping, you should be relatively safe. Well, you should be safe from pirates, but obviously people who are in the opposing faction would be able to shoot you, as they would in any area of space. Just going to jump into a breacher and undock. If things look slightly different on my video here, it's because I've recently got better computer.
Oh
And I'm still
no!
setting it up, as you can
Yeah,
see.
and a tangent. Why haven't they allowed sharing of settings before? It's just like it's 20 years old. How many times have we changed computers in that time if we've been playing all that time? You imagine how many times we've had to redo our default. Yeah, because why? Iceland, they make good stuff. Why their default is perfect. Why would we use anything other than
Well, what it means is the picture should be a little bit sharper, a little bit higher resolution. So hopefully my videos will be a little better looking as a result of this. So I'm a little bit vulnerable because I'm just setting up everything for PvP at the moment. Wow, Eve's a beautiful game. So let's jump through to Intaki. See if we can find this interstellar shipcaster, get a good look at it. Now, the one that's in Intaki is in Galanti space, so as you'd expect, it's the one that relates to the Galanti faction warfare, which means members of Galanti faction warfare can use it. The other ones are Mehatur for Amar pilots, Onaman for Kaldari, and Amel for Minmatar. I think everyone's overview should have one tab that shows absolutely everything. And even though I've got such a tab, because the shipcaster's new, it's not showing up there. So the way to make it show up on the overview is to go into overview settings, go into filters, type shown, type shipcaster or ship C, and it'll bring up the beacons there. So if you tick them, they will then show up on your overview. There it is. Your overview. It's there. Caster. Go into filters.
Wait, if he's got all, why doesn't he just select all and go save? Sorry. It's just, yeah. Keep your overview all setting up to date by doing that.
Caster or ship C, and it'll bring up the beacons there. So if you tick them, they will then show up on your overview. There it is. Federation Interstellar Shipcaster. So I'm just warping to it. And here it is.
Wait, is he part of faction warfare? I'm not seeing militia.
Now I can't use that because I'm not in the
Right.
Galanti faction. But if you were, this is where you would come. And you can see the fact that the technology used and the components used were related to the Triglavians is reflected in the design at the top. Just a reminder that if you want to join factional warfare, it's really easy to do.
Okay, so that doesn't explain the advantages of it. Sorry, McDiabo. You weren't useful this time. Uh-oh. Has nobody done a... Oh, Jesus. Nobody's done a video of the advantages of the shipcaster for faction warfare that's already in place for all 4 factions yet. Oh, for fuck. Like, that's... Ashtaroth, he's not going to help at all. I mean, yeah, for 2 hours, there's nothing. And, he made that in the beginning of the year. So it's not going to be any help of... Yeah, no, right? I hate Reddit, but... I mean, it's scraping the bottom of the barrel for information here. Yeah, right? Titan bridging. But, yeah, regardless, okay, Mr. freaking Nullsec. Yeah, because the current, you never know where you're going to a trap. Okay, yeah, okay, we already get that. So this is nothing more than I've learned from Magaibo, so, okay. When was this written? 5 months ago. So, Jesus Christ. Blah, blah, blah. Wine, wine, wine. He just did it right when they were. Could you just freaking. Is there anything new? Oh, for F's sakes. Tools. Anytime to screw off. Past month. Christ's sake. And of course, unfortunately, we can't learn anything new about the current shipcasters because all we're getting is bombarded by the new shipcaster. Now please clap. Yeah, dude. Now please, yeah. I. Ugh. It's just. Now please clap. Yeah. Please clap. Like, how do you get standings with them, right? One assumes running the corruption stuff. Yeah. Okay, that okay, whatever. Like, what does it mean to have the shipcasters? What has it meant for the community for the shipcasters? And you get nothing. Yeah. More than 25% of the keynote. Yeah, it was. It, look at my freaking channel. How much time have I devoted to the nitty gritty of what's actually new stuff? Like 16 minutes, 20 minutes at a time. You know? I mean, an hour tops of tepid. What are they doing? Like, they're fixing the bullshit that is the corporate projects. I mean, literally. And bragging about how, oh Jesus, and this havoc thing, you need 10 standings with them to dock, and the shipcaster, nobody's done anything about what's the advantages currently for the current shipcasters. I mean, what use are they, right? Are they being used? I mean, some guy on Reddit was like, what's this system in Taki? And it's like, yeah, obviously it's not a hub of activity. Like, can I go to Intaki right now? Like, where's Intaki? Like, can I get to Intaki quickly? Where is Intaki, anyways? Route. I have a I have an alpha account that is in militia right now because it looks like the only way I'm going to get any information out there at all is to do it myself. Yeah, whatever the first person is being called these days. Yep, exactly right. Is this character? Yeah, always wants to be with the cool kids on the latest trend. Yeah, he absolutely is. He was the CTO of Eve before he became CEO, and he hasn't changed his attitude whatsoever. Okay, so how do I get to there? 215 E, Jesus. What's this? Amazon? Bricamia. Ah, I can do that. Alright, let's do this. Alright, gonna have to check it out. Do. Might as well. Back to alpha state. Yeah, let's not go crazy on that, please. Thank you. Yeah, whatever. Shush.
Drive active.
Oh god, I got the default. Jesus. Thank you. Yeah, basically, I've got it up to date mostly, but I'll open overview settings and filters, and I have. Oh, I'm missing probably the new destroyers, I'm guessing. No, no entities. Home front. Okay. Allied. Okay, so allied. Okay. And then Lancer Dread. Okay. So I'm guessing the new destroyers are just destroyers and not a new class of ship. That's nice. Okay. Alright. Oops, did I do it correctly? No, I probably didn't. All and select all. There we go.
Drive active.
guarantee you my ship's not going to be useful at all in this kind of combat environment at all. It's just tackle. And not very good tackle at that. It'll be popped so quickly. Yeah, I'm just fast tackle for getting on top of something and tackling it. But yeah, that's assuming I won't be shot at. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting. Let's do the idealistic, and then we'll talk about the realistic. So the idealistic expectation that CCP is hyped us for is this is going to be a hive of activity, people organizing and then jumping through to wherever the hotspot is. The reality is going to be a low traffic system where people are just going to YOLO through. This is oh my god, it just hit me just now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be so facetious. But yeah, CCP management was like, oh, the kids are into yeeting these days. Let's give them literal yeeting. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to destroy your just ruin your expectations here. That's literally what's gonna go on. Oh my freaking god. That is exactly what they're doing. Oh, the kids these days are into eating. Yeah, it's just gonna be low traffic YOLOing. That's it. Nobody's gonna be interested in that. Yeah, you jump your ship into something random and you're just okay. Great if you get blown up. What happens then? How do you reship? Where do you reship? Do you go back to Intaki? All the way back to Intaki and try this bullshit fixed filament thing? It makes no sense. Like every 6 minutes. So, oh, you don't want to go to that system, so you're going to wait 6 minutes to, like, what is the point? Just reship there. What's the advantage? Like, I'm not seeing any advantage. Sorry for not paying attention to Vicamia. Low sec. Wow. Like, when I think beautiful game, what do I think? I really enjoy the fact that I'm flying through a solar system. The sun is over there. I've just traveled the solar system and approaching planets and whipping by planets. Used to be you'd whip through a planet like cookie cutter paper mache kind of thing, but they got smart really early on and realized that's like immersion breaking for prospective customers watching somebody play this game. But yeah, it's nice that you're traveling through a solar system, as in the other games you play would just simply take you to a different spot in the solar system and it wouldn't feel organic. And it's nice when you approach a Stargate, the planet comes into view quite quickly, but it's fun. It's neat. Unfortunately, the orbits of the planets have never happened, and it's just a willing sense of disbelief at this point. You can't have everything. You can't have everything, orbiting everything. And unfortunately, the asteroid belts, the look of the asteroid belts are atrocious. They tried to fix that a while back, but they ham-fisted it. They look really cool, like Star Wars kind of belts, but they overdid it and then just reverted it to where it was. So, yeah. CCP, half-assing. Alright, I'm gonna grab some water. Autopilot.
Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active.
Okay, so if it's a strategically useful system and it's a hive of activity, wouldn't that attract the opposing militia, right?
Approaching Stargate.
And I was thinking while I was getting my water, it's like, uh-oh, am I gonna get blown up here?
Warp drive active. Autopilot jumping.
And what I'm expecting, I'm sorry for being a party pooper, but what I'm expecting is the system's going to be empty. There's a few YOLOers just, either camped in station and proper, or, yeah, nobody's going to be on that ShipCaster waiting to go through. Now, hopefully, I know it's a long shot, but hopefully when I get to the site, there's going to be hive activity around the ShipCaster. And I'm assuming that if that's the case, there should be some enemies in system trying to take advantage of that. Or maybe it's such a hive activity, nobody's going to bother trying to combat that because there's no advantage to shooting the ships there. Right? And as you can see, I'm seeing nobody in my militia or opposing militia so far. Drum roll, please.
Jumping. Autopilot disabled. Waypoint reached.
Lol.
Warp drive active.
Should there be at least a militia station in here? Anybody home? Nope. Okay, never mind. Where is the ShipCaster? Oh, ShipCaster. There it is.
Warp drive active.
Well, charging. What do you mean? Wait. You have to wait? Active. What's this mean? 5, 3, 2, 1. What? Huh? Oh wait. Shit. I'm not part of this. Okay, so no solar system link? I went to the wrong damn system. Sorry, guys. Well, that answers the activity. Oh, Jesus. Ouch. 21 jumps versus... Yeah, I'll take it. Screw it. Jesus Christ.
Autopilot engaged.
Wow.
Warp drive active. Autopilot jumping.
Wow.
Warp drive active.
Yep. Yeah.
Autopilot
It's just
jumping.
like ignoring all the hoopla from CCP giving us opportunities to yeet into combat. How can we
Active.
take advantage of this mechanic to further our playstyle in Eve? What advantages do we get using this mechanic to further our interest in Eve? Using the playstyle we've adapted the game to play, in accordance to align with what we expect the game to be like.
Autopilot jumping.
Is this mechanic useful? In a materialistic way, it's like, what's the benefit of staging out of Intaki versus, like, literally, I mean, you've got a clone bay in Intaki, you've got the opportunity to get to important spots in faction warfare space. Why wouldn't people be staging out of Intaki, right? That it sounds like a great opportunity if it makes sense. To me, it just looks like you've got
Active.
randomly spawned frickin' beacons, not player made. I think you can, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you can't. But anyways, they're randomly spawned beacons, so you're going to random locations out of your control. Or you can wait freaking how many odd minutes till it appears again, and then you go to a place where you have no idea what's on the other side,
Autopilot jumping.
whether it's being camped or not. Though why would anybody camp something that's not being used? And it just makes zero sense at all. Zero sense.
Active.
I don't know. And it's going to be the same thing with this czars thing. It's just this bullshit tease placed almost right on top of Pochman. You'd think it'd be a connection to Pochman, but it's not. Is it a connection to Joe Space? That all those systems in Joe Space? No, it's nothing. It's just an idiotic yeet system that CCP leadership thinks the kids these days love. Right? Like, let's encourage NPE. Oh, what are the millennials doing? Oh, something about eating. Let's make a yeet machine. And that's all it was. Literally all it was. It's just so obviously all it was. Fuck. This is really embarrassing. Like, all this hoopla, all this freaking, like, kudos to Ashtarothi for white knighting EVE Online. We need more people like that to blindly cheer for CCP, because that's all they got going. I mean, you might be enthused about, being part of EVE's history. Oh, I helped create that. But it's like, I can guarantee you Ashtarothi hasn't thought about the utility of it at all. He's just not that kind of player. And he's a bit of a dick when it comes to that, too. He just doesn't give a shit, But yeah, I mean, the mentality of you have contributed something material. Okay, great. Go to Reykjavik and look at your monument, because everybody's being active account gets on there, whether they're a botter or not. As long as they're active, you get on the monument. It's a once in a lifetime. Oh no, wait! It's a twice in a lifetime event. Oh wait, it's going to happen again. Yeah, you've contributed to what exactly? Did it make sense? No. Do you care? Probably not, because it's the next episode, and that's the problem. It's like, you can't play EVE like a sitcom. It's not an episodic, freaking random mass crap
Autopilot jumping.
Pile of garbage. It's a game you're trying to play your way, and CCP is completely irrelevant in that. So that's why I don't really pay attention to the whole corporate projects. And I'm sorry I paid attention to it today, cause yeah. Jesus Christ.
Autopilot jumping.
Yeah, I'm now dumber for having paid attention to it today.
Warp drive active.
Like, one expects the hoopla to amount to something, and you look at a half-ass system, and I'm gonna be looking at a half-ass system for yeeting. But there's nobody gonna be in the system, just like in Taki. Nobody's gonna be using it because it's useless, and nobody gives a shit except Ashtarothi. But he's onto the newest thing. There's no. Is this useful? What are we doing something useful? Like, why the hell? Like the lore for all these factions. It's like Caldor State, corporate stuff, and it's like, okay, well, what does it mean to have an empire run by corporations? What are the deeper ramifications for the people, the non-capsuleers in that empire? What's the voting system like? What's the people's power in that? Obviously none. In a corporate system, but compared to, say, Galente, right? I mean, what's the people's power in Galente? It's a democracy, but what is that? What is that morphed into? are we going for a cyberpunk future here? Right? I mean, oh, that's interesting. He's gonna take me out? I don't think so. I think I'm too fast. And he's too far away too. No, wrong gate to camp, buddy. Is it a cyberpunk future? Is it a dystopian future? Like, what is taken to the extreme? What is the extreme of a democracy, right? Is there a real world example of taken to extreme? Like, is a democracy socialist or is it capitalistic? Right? Are we talking about all like there's ISK and Eve, right? And everybody uses ISK. So obviously it's going to be capitalistic. Is everything a variation of capitalism? Is a Mayan empire? That would be the U.S. basically. Yeah, because how many years ago was slavery? Yeah, not very long ago. So, say take the U.S. as the Amarian, right? And say the French as the Galente, right? The say the British would be the Caldari. I don't know. The Germans maybe Caldari. And then the Min Matter would, let's be facetious, Russia. I don't know. Like the South Africa would be Min Matter, right? I'm picking randomly, right? Recently Unchained, right? So, I mean, taken to extreme, what would be the Min Matter in a dystopian universe? What would be a tribal, freedom-loving society be like in a dystopian universe? That's capitalistic. Like, I mean, what kind of power does the individual have? Is it familial? Is it like, what do we know? Like, seriously, it's like I'm having to imagine what it's like instead of reading about it, because you'll get no literature about that except for pie in the sky, pretty much cookie cutter. You could describe any fact, like, it doesn't describe the factions, right? I mean, there are corporations in every faction, right? There are democratic systems in every faction. There's religious overtones in every faction. I mean, are you going to say that religion is banned in Caldari space? I mean, what is religion? I mean, there are no alien species to challenge the view that we are made in God's image, right? I mean, what happens at some point in the future for our world in real life? What if aliens arrive and they're like little green men? I mean, how does religion square with that, right? I mean, we are made in God's image, but what are these people? They have superior technology, obviously. And what if we're part of a bigger universe and we say gain star travel and we get contacted by people who are saying, okay, you reached a level where we're allowed to communicate with you people. What if we're part of a huge universe or galaxy of interconnected alien races that look nothing like us? I mean, how is that going to impact our religion? I mean, how does that even work, eh? Does religion adapt? Yeah, it's all these questions. But in this universe, it's simply, we all look human, so we don't have to care about evolving religions. It's just going to be religions. I mean, where are the religious people in, say, Min Matter space of all things? I mean, would they have a religion? Like, what kind of gods did they worship? Um, how do their how does their how does their economy work? In Galenti space, how does the economy work different from Caldari space? I mean, Caldari you would assume would be like dystopian kind of Blade Runner stuff, with big pyramidal mega structures on planets and stuff. But how would Galenti work? Are you imagining free open parks and beautiful spaces, or is it something else? Like, what is it? Like, what do their cities like? If you look at the videos, it doesn't show you much. If you look at their lore, it doesn't tell you much. Um, how about like? Sure, it'll tell you a story, but can you compare it to? Can you use those stories? Can you compare each story and go, okay, that makes, like, you take one story about Galente and one story about Caldari, one story about Amara, one story about Min Matter, and you combine, put them next to each other and go, okay, that helps explain the differences between these, So, so it's it's really half-assed. There's no thinking beyond the episodic. Oh, we're just going to make a story randomly about something, and it's just like that helps. That doesn't explain anything. You've just done a word salad. And I've read so many of the chronicles, like so many of the chronicles. Jesus, and the stories, and I've bought books, the softcover book. You try. But at the end of the day, it's like, wait, this is just half-ass fiction, science fiction, and it doesn't help you understand the differences between, the deeper differences between, corporations, yeah, but every faction has corporations. Religion, yeah, but what's the religion of Galente space? Like, what? They don't even talk about that stuff, right? It's Galente, it's democracy, yeah, but what's the decision making of Amarian space, and how about compared to, like, how do it's just like they've taken these bits of corporations. We're only going to talk about corporations in the aspect of Caldari, or religion. We're just going to talk about it in the aspect of Amarian, and democracy. That's the Galente. We're calling it blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what? That's not. It's not helpful at all, and that's the problem. It's like they just. It just seems very. Yeah, totally half-assed. All right, so okay, I've seen in the entire trip here, I've seen one militia guy. Now, to be fair, we did see population in Antaki, but since I wasn't of that militia, they could have been parts of that militia, and I just assumed they were neutral. But they could have been faction people. I could have looked closer, but so. But I've only seen one. Hostile. I haven't seen friendly. Now you would assume if people are moving ships to the staging area in Mehator, what they would use neutral haulers. So okay, we'll give them that. But okay, nothing. See nothing. No enemies. No friendlies. I'm gonna jump in here, and it's gonna be about 9 or 10 neutrals, and no activity around the gate, the ShipCaster, and yeah, it's gonna be dead on arrival, yeeting for the millennials. That's gonna be the title of this freaking video. Okay, we've got 3 other people. no enemies. Is the shipcaster... I probably see the shipcaster from... Should I be able to see the shipcaster? I should be able to see the shipcaster, right? I would assume. Yeah. Okay. Info. And add to overview. Should be able to see it from here. Yep, there we go. Cool. Awesome. See if anybody's sitting on top of it. Okay, so I'm hoping these people are not docked, and that they're actually, there's half of them, there's 2 people there. I'm assuming there's going to be 2 people sitting on this waiting to go through. Lol. Okay, so, what the fuck is this? And I'm gonna assume these people are like AFK or something. Yeah, whatever. That's hilarious. Unlinked. So is it player-based beacons? Not... So you actually have to place the beacon. Come on, seriously? Random location beacons, okay. Their random location beacon spawned. That's what I assumed, but... Right. There's nothing recent, though. This is kind of scary because you look at this. Yeah, it's like the event happened, the things got built, and then interest just died. Like nobody's interested in even like, wow. Holy shit. Like, Amar Shipcaster Online, June 18th. So it's been months, right? I'm assuming at some point, I might as well wait, see if something links. Okay, Shipcaster unlinked. Shipcaster unlinked. Right? And all this, all I'm seeing. In the past month, nothing. Shipcaster. But yeah, I mean that's the problem, isn't it? I mean, you go ShipCaster and it's going to go SARS, right?
I am MacGybo, and today I'm going to be looking at.
All right, let's see if MacGybo did anything about. What the hell happened there? What the hell was that? Okay, so he did that recap 2 months ago.
I am MacGybo, and today I'm going to.
Hell? I just. Wow. Really? So, how often does a ShipCaster beacon spawn? ShipCasters, how do you fix them? Okay, wait. So apparently there are beacons construction sites spawn randomly, but you've got to build them. Player built. There's no reward for doing that. You get some LP, but it's much less worth than the materials. Also, nobody cares, as the ShipCaster is a useless tool. Yeah, totally right. So yeah, let's do a search. I'll keep this window open just in case something happens, but I doubt it. ShipCaster. Jesus, that's freaky, but I think that's the only interesting thing that happens today. May 4th, Jesus. Oh, come on, guys. Filter. All cutters. When, before posted. After. Let's do after August 1st. Let's do that. Relevant search. 2. Jesus. You're kidding me. How about just ShipCaster? Anything? How to make ShipCasters useful. Is your ShipCaster event broken? Wow. Check this out. ShipCaster, after August. That's it. Just a dearth. Sorry. Am I dearth? Yeah, just a dearth. Just a dearth of info about it. So they're randomly spawned, but they're construction sites that randomly spawn, and you've got to build them, player build. So you put the energy into it that's worth less output than what you put into it LP wise or whatever wise, and then nobody's bothering because it's just completely useless, and somebody can just blow it up uncontested when you leave. And I can guarantee you I'll go to every single one of these ShipCaster systems and they're just dead in the water. And that's the same thing that's going to probably happen to this Czar's ShipCaster too, because nobody gives a shit. Wow. So it's worse than I thought. It's just hard to fathom that CCP would be so stupid as to think this would be a good idea, that they didn't need to have it's like one would think that, okay, they said that there's going to be 3 random beacons, right, spawned, and you're thinking, okay, well, all right, that's random, but at least we get 3 options. But now it's like you've got one option. Whatever fool is going to build this, and you're going to go there, and it's not going to be camped because nobody gives a shit. If it is, it's some guy blowing it up uncontested, and you, because why not? And nobody's coming through it. And it's just like dead in the water. They spent all this time coding this bullshit for just hype, for no other reason than millennials want to yeet, and that's it. I mean, I can't see any other brainless management decision than to force developers to make this kind of crap. That's just forgotten. It'll be a forgotten technology that eventually people are gonna start asking, whatever happened to the shipcasters? You know, I mean, it is gonna come up in conversation at some point. People are gonna go, oh, did CCP actually think that? And it's going to become obvious to people when they look at it, go, oh, it's not being used. Why did CCP code it in the first place? And it's going to be, oh, because they thought kids like eating. That'll be the conclusion. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just inescapable, right? But just to think that, I mean, is it? It's near to prime time. This is prime time on frickin' a lazy Sunday afternoon. Yeah, or sorry, a lazy. What time is it? It's prime time in Europe right now. This is prime time for basically anything happening right now. North America is just getting into phase, and you would think that on a weekend, after months of this thing being an established technology, that it would at least be one shipcaster beacon light available. And the fact that it's not, the fact that CCP was so brainless to think that it was so popular that people fall over themselves building these things. It's like, oh, player created content, and they actually don't have a system to go, oh, nobody's done anything for 24 hours. Maybe we should like build one automatically, right? There should be like, to me it was like, okay, you've got, when I first heard about it, it'd be like, okay, there's going to be 3 beacons only, and I assumed that a player has an option of building one too, but it'd be like, okay, how do you compete with the automatically spawned ones, right? And I think CCP was like, oh, it's going to be so popular, blah blah blah. We'll have to like not let the system spawn them automatically. But if there isn't one single shipcaster built, you would think that the system would build it automatically for you, right? There'd be like, you could contribute to it, but at the same time, if there's no contribution, you'd think that the system would try to not embarrass itself as it's currently doing. Wow. Wow. Oops. I've seen fireworks that are better than that. Yeah, I mean, if you build a, you, but there's randomly spawned locations where the construction site is, so you don't get a choice. So why? What's the point? Right? I mean, what's the point in building a beacon that's destructible in order to stage from this system only? Like, the thought could have been, oh well, like, it's a lack of understanding of how players play the game. I mean, if you're going to be going intelligently about playing the game, be like, okay, I want to stage out of a certain area, I put a bunch of ships in this certain station, and then they're cheap, expendable, gonna have fun, ship out of this stuff, um, and the thought that, okay, well, if the front lines move, I'll have to move all of my ships. And most people would just be like, well, I'll just transport a bunch more materials to that other system, make or buy or transport or whatever all my ships, a new batch of ships there, and ship out of there, and then have the other place as a backup, and pretty much have ships all over the place in faction warfare to ship into, right? And it would be a constant thing. You'd have, if you're playing faction warfare, you're gonna lose a lot of ships, right? And for production and destruction. So having a central location to spawn out of seems attractive at first glance, but there's no real documentation of, okay, where are the beacons spawned? Like, where are they right now? Where are the current construction site beacons that you could potentially build a link to for the ShipCaster? Where are they right now? Like, do you have to manually go search for them yourself, or is there a list of where to go, right? I mean, where do these things get spawned? In, I'm assuming, Marian held faction warfare space right now. And the thing is, what is the advantage of having a ShipCaster here instead of just simply shipping your stuff in, right? I mean, this would be great for, like, okay, it would be great if you had all your ships at the ShipCaster in transportable form, and then went through the ShipCaster with the industrial to drop off your ships at the new hotspot, right? Yeah. Like, where the hell is... Oh, sorry. On. Oops. Right, full. No. Oh, crap. Full. Full screen, window mode. Apply. Okay, so... Dotlan. Mehator. I mean, is this... I can guarantee you it's not anywhere near a hub. 13 freaking jumps. Like, and Carmona is only 5. Like, Jesus Christ. It's like, why would I go here What? Literally, why would I stage out of here when I can stage out of Odolin, right? Which is near. Like, why would I bother moving all the way here? Why don't I just simply stage out of Odolin? I mean, the Hula Gate. I mean, the Odolin Gate in Hula isn't camped 24/7. Surprisingly not, but it's Cormonan's Hula Gate that is camped a lot. One jump in, it's surprising. So yeah, you could totally stage closer in low sec even. And there's one jump we can go to Ra. And let's open up. Faction. Can we see in faction warfare? Faction warfare. Hello. Faction warfare. Open faction warfare window. Is there a? There it is. Faction warfare right there. Activities. Okay. Systems. Faction warfare agents. Blah blah blah. All right. So, Metador, I'm here. Thank you very much. Is there a ShipCaster beacon icons anywhere? Hello? Are there landing pads? Landing pads under construction? What? You mean there's a ShipCaster beacon in every faction warfare system? So there's a construction site in every system? Right? So there's a potential to build. Wait, so there's not random, it's. Wait. I thought they were random. No. So. Do you have the ability to build a ShipCaster beacon or complete the ShipCaster construction anywhere in the faction warfare space? For, I'm assuming for any min-matter Amar, like, landing pad. Could you build it in a hostile space? Wait, I had that open somehow. How'd that? Okay. Request a system for more information. I'm clicking. Hello. Okay, never mind. Zone. Let's click on. What are we doing here? We're doing pretty good. Right on. Okay, let's click on that one. Hello. Okay. Caster. So they have unlinked. Okay. Advantage objectives. They're not even listing ShipCaster. It's hilarious. Wow. That's so embarrassing. Okay, so landing pads under construction. Wait, what the? Okay. Okay, so doesn't really matter, I guess. I'm assuming. So you could have it anywhere in here, anywhere you can build in the faction warfare space. You can complete that beacon, and then you can jump to the beacon. From here. Well, why the hell would you, like, why would you, like, a central location where you can spawn from? But you'd have to, like, it wouldn't make sense to do all that trouble to build that beacon in order to spawn in that location when you can just, like, why would you bother doing that? It would make zero sense. Like, how much, like, you could probably do it if, like, you got your industrial here, your ship hauler here, and you went in there with another industrial ship and dumped in the stuff to build that beacon. Once built, could you get to the shipcaster in the time it was building? Like, it say if it takes a certain amount of time to build, could you get to Manitor, wait till it finished builds, and then you could jump in with your industrial ship and offload your ships at where you wanted to, say Sozan or something, and it's like you just freaking scout yourself in low sec, and then, and you know, I mean, crap. I would just, like, put a bunch of ships in here. Like, it's say if you're interested in running the freaking faction warfare space in this area, you transfer in from freaking, where would you go? Where's Odolon? Here, Odolon. Yeah, you'd come in from Odolon. You'd come in from Odolon, or you could sneak in through another area. And get yourself into where you needed to stage out of there with your ships, and then do it that way instead of, like, centrally locating here and then having to manually build a beacon in order to transport. Like, it, like, to me, when I first heard of this system, it was like, oh, okay, well, the front lines were where you would be casting to. Like, you could ship out of here, and then you could, it would spawn beacons in the front lines area of your like, to defend, right? It wouldn't be in the hostile space. It would be in, you know, you could ship cast to one, two. It would be randomly picked between the front line, you know. It would be spawned, and then, you know, maybe after a time it would despawn, and then it would appear in another one of the, you know, one of the many frontline systems, and you go, okay, well, I don't want to go here, I want to go here. I'm gonna have to wait a while till it, like, why would you wait all that time? Like, why would you be forced to sit in the queue and wait for the randomly generated? It would just, like, why? It would just make zero sense. It's like, you go here, you go, okay, I want to jump to the front line here. Like, why would you do otherwise? I mean, the roleplay, like, if you roleplayed it, like, okay, well, a shipcaster would be a beacon and it would be vulnerable. Why would you send it to the front lines, right? Why wouldn't it be in an HQ system, right? Could you send it to, like, how many HQ systems are there, right? So I would, if I was CCP, I'd be like, okay, well, shipcaster would send you could pick which HQ system you wanted to go to, because that's where the beacons would be built, right? And if, say, one was destroyed, it would be rebuilt later on automatically, so it would be out of commission for a bit if it was destroyed. So say Hula's one was routinely destroyed, you'd be like, okay, well, I'll never get there. I'll go to Camilla, you know, and that kind of thing. But it would be automatically rebuilt. So, I mean, if people are on top of it, you'd have a limited choice. Like, okay, well, I can't go. I know I won't be able to go to those three because those are routinely blown up. But I could definitely get to Ezra and stuff like that. And you could get through your industrial ship into that area, so you could offload your ships where you stage out of, right? You wouldn't want to stage out of Manitor. Well, you could, like, you could have this centralized shipping all your ships there and get ready to go, and then uh, you could be able to put your, you know. But the thought that you could be actively go into yeeting into combat would be okay. Well, if you wanted to go that way, you would go a shipcaster beacon for offense. Would you be placed in the opposing faction's frontline system for combat, right? And it would be like, I mean, you could go to the beacon, you could pick which system you wanted to go to if it wasn't disabled during that time, and you'd be able to launch into that area from the shipcaster, right? All these things would be possible, except what we have right now is an unused, useless piece of bullshit that nobody wants to use because it's useless. Because this is just CCP going, okay, developers, you're going to waste time making something because the millennials want to yeet. That's their attitude, and this is why their FPS is dead in the water from the get-go, and it always has been from the beginning of frickin'. They've had like at least 3 iterations of this bullshit FPS that Hilmar is obsessed with, and CCP Ratatati, the rat-faced little shit. He's been his go-to man for the FPS things. Yeah, him and Burger, the guy who yelled at the audience to cheer. Yeah, how to be. This is how they are in, like, look at their attitude. This is how they are in their meetings. Their sweaty meetings that is being expose about. These people, this is their attitude in their meetings. This aggressive style. This is how they are. I mean, this is not an anomaly. This is not him reacting painfully to something he's not used to. This is how he is. This is how they are. This is their attitude of arrogant dismissal, of absolute arrogant. What are the kids like these days? Oh, this will be a hit. Without the millennial, the condescension of the newest generation has been in existence from the beginning of freaking written word, of spoken word. Kids these days, they don't. You were the generation being dunked on. Like, don't you realize how dumb you sound? Like how dumb your grandparents sounded when they were talking about it? It's like, yeah. It's like people pretending that they're not clueless. Literally. This is people pretending that they're not clueless. And they're not pretending hard enough. You know? They really aren't. Just pretend harder, guys. Wow. Yeah, 1 hour till prime time. Nothing. It's on a Sunday. Nothing. Nothing. Welcome to Eve. Yeah, beware of stuff like this. It'll be. This is to CCP. It's like, oh, there are landmarks in system. There's Mackey's land or some. There are land like Eula, the ruins of Eula. This is just another ruins of Eula to them. It's they don't care. They've never cared as long as you treat them like they're relevant, and they're not. So they have a temper tantrum. Temper tantrum, literal. Up on stage, you saw Burger having a temper tantrum because people weren't clapping the way you wanted it. And we don't, like, why would we trust them? Like, you're not you're here. Like, basically at FanFest, Burger and Rattati need to not be seen. And Hilmar, they need to not be seen and let keynotes be like, Hilmar treats FanFest as though he is the most important thing about the keynote. Like, he gets to stand up there and blather, and it's just this. He's devolved into this petulant. I like NFTs, and everybody else is going to like it eventually. You know, as long as I shove it down your throat, and as long as I finally make you understand how great NFTs are, and it's like you're just a walking talking point for NFTs right now. And it's just really, just like, these people just need to realize that their shit stinks so bad that they need to not take part in FanFest. Like, just step back, let the new kids, but they're not. They're just incapable of anything but petulant temper tantrums. And this is a result. Just another landmark, guys. That's all it is. Just treat it as an interesting landmark that's dead in the water. I mean, just this is an inactive, useless piece of crap that just looks like any other landmark in space, and you just treat it as such. That's like, it's funny, isn't it? I scratched the surface of the corporate projects and I wish I had never had, and now I wish I never had scratched the surface of ShipCasters. It's a useless piece of crap that can I use any part of it? Like, could I go, okay, right now I'm going, okay, how much does it cost to build a beacon? Because I'm interested in faction warfare. Can I build a beacon somewhere, get to here, jump through my ship? Like, how much will it cost me to do this? How much time will it take? And as opposed to, say, scouting my industrial hauler through to the staging area when I drop my ships off and then build them, or package them at the destination, right? So I can use them in faction warfare. And how many ships can I get there, and how quickly will I lose them? How many times do I have to do that? What size of ship can I put through a freighter through this thing? I wouldn't want to, but how big a ship can I put through here? Like, this is the thing. It's like, it would be really cool if I could have a hauler that wasn't a bowhead, but had a enlarged ship maintenance bay, and that was more maneuverable than, say, an orca or a bowhead or something like that. That I could get into it and have, like, if I could have a ship like that, this would be attractive, right? Because I would be able to go, okay, can I build a shipcast? I can complete the shipcaster beacon in, say, bring up the and say, like I said, I was talking about this. I'm just picking it random. This system, right? So if I want to go here and build in this system, this, can I show? Okay, solar system stations. Yeah, I mean, dump off my Yeah, right there, and stage out of there. Um, and I'd be able to get this industrial ship with kind of a twice as big of a model as say the Iteron, right? And be able to have a large maintenance space so I can store my faction warfare ships that are built already, so I can get there through that system, and I could probably scout it into any other system I needed to further where I needed to go, which would be a nice advantage to, say, scouting in from Odin, say, which is easily done because I just need to go, Odin, then Huala, then and sneak it through to wherever, right? Doesn't matter. But yeah, that would be interesting. But we don't have the ability to do that currently. We've got the Orca, we've got the Bowhead, and then we'd have to use, we'd use a DST, but a DST's, it doesn't have a maintenance bay, right? So the possibilities to take advantage of the technology to further our playstyle is not there because CCP doesn't give a shit. And they never will give a shit. And maybe a decade from now, maybe we might have something like that. But until then, this is a useless piece of technology that even I can't find a use for. Right? So, yeah. I mean, for Jesus Christ, you could find a wormhole that gets you to where you want to go better than this piece of crap. Think about it. Because CCP obviously won't. Because they've moved on to the next thing. Yeah. They'll get bored of this eating stuff. And move on to the next thing. Oh, we did what the kids... That kids don't seem to want to... That the kids are unappreciative of what we gave them. Blah, blah, blah. You just hear it now. Wow. Retards. I mean, this would be useful if we had a small ship industrial that had a ship maintenance bay in it that we could get. Okay, cool. Oh my god, there's no... So what can you put through it? Like, you would think that as long as, like, if it wasn't an automatic build thing, that at least running, like, at some, like, you would think there would be a trigger somehow of running other stuff that would uh, enable the beacon. Yep, it'll build. Yeah. Another landmark. So sad. Like, what would be the use for this? I mean, it would be great for staging out it, right? It would be fun. You could, like, you're part of the militia. You've got this advantage that other people don't to stage from this system, albeit not as near as you could stage using other better means, but you could stage from this system and go to this ShipCaster and jump to wherever you would like to go, and the ShipCaster beacons would, like, be headquarter systems. Like, you could go to any headquarter system because the beacon there would be active because it's a headquarter system, and people could deactivate it for a while through combat, like for a limited time period, but it would always reactivate, right? So you could get to potentially any headquarter system, assuming people don't punk the beacon and keep it inactive, right? And that would be an advantage for your side. Or anything other than what they have now. Or you mean? Anyways, I think I'm done. Yeah, it's not gonna happen at all. Like, yeah, like they said, nothing's happened. Wild. Yeah, I'll log out right here and maybe, I don't know, check in every once in a while. Where's Sharif from here? Is 0, I think. Set destination. Yeah. I got better things to do than dick around here. Huh? Yeah, I'm done. No need hanging around to check if something happens. Bananas. And there's no real use for it anyways, because we don't have the type of ships that could take advantage of this in order to further stage anything the way it's working right now. Wow. Nobody... Jesus Christ. Alright, I'm out of here.